10 years long and strong.
No crying this time.
No crying. Hey everyone, welcome to my home kitchen. This week's Genius recipe is for the very first Genius recipe that I wrote about for Food 52, 10 years ago. It's a really good one, a 3-ingredient sorbet that will completely change how you think about cooking with lemons. So this recipe comes from Ruth Rogers and the late Rose Gray, who founded the River Cafe in London in 1987. And we can get right to the genius that is going to happen with this ingredient right here. We are not going to zest this lemon and juice it. We are just going to cut off only the toughest stem part. Some don't even have that, so you might not have to do that. And cut out the seeds. And everything else is going in. So there's a seed, we don't want that. Get out of there. Mainly because it probably isn't great for the food processor. So I'm gonna chop these roughly, just so that they'll break down evenly. And the thing that really was so shocking about this recipe, I think when it was first published, and then when my boss, Amanda Hesser, published it in the New York Times in, I believe, 2006, and then when I published it as the very first Genius recipe, is that usually in recipes when we're told to zest the lemon, we are cautioned to be very, very careful not to include any of this white pith that's in between. You know, recipes say that the top lemon part is where all the fragrance is, and then this thick white part is gonna be bitter and it's going to ruin everything we make. And as it turns out, that is just not necessarily true. In this recipe, it makes the sorbet a little more complex. It makes it a little bit creamier. It gives it a great texture, and it really would not be as good without it. So good for pith. It also probably has a lot of great stuff in it. Vitamin C, I don't know. This is all going to go in the food processor with some sugar to turn into kind of a lemony slush. But first, here's Ruthie to explain how she knew that there was so much more goodness trapped in the whole lemon besides just the juice and the zest.
I saw it from my mother-in-law, Donna Rogers, who was an Italian cook who came to London from Italy, and she that's how she did them. She made her sorbet with the sugar in the food processor with the lemon, and then you made that mixture, and then you added the strawberries or the raspberries. The whole lemon gives it a texture that is quite rough. It makes it, it makes it different from all the other sorbets that we eat, which are very smooth, the French style, for instance. And this one gives you texture. It gives you a bit of drama, I think, in the sorbet.
I'm going to blend those up in a second, but first I want to finish prepping these strawberries, which I started pre-hulling because I was trying to be organized, but I also wanted to show you my favorite way to hull and see if you have ways that you like to do it better that you can tell me about. Basically, when you have a lot of strawberries to hull, like this, 2 pounds, it's kind of nice to get a good rhythm going and go fast. So I like to hold my knife like this, kind of lift up the little tutu of the stem and just go like this and take off as little of the actual strawberry as possible. It's like a fun game for myself. Strawberries are so precious, so wasting any strawberry stresses me out. So one of the things that has made this recipe so iconic, no matter how great your strawberries are, no matter how great your lemon is, it seems to turn out really, really good every time. I even taught it in cooking classes, and we wouldn't necessarily have great in-season strawberries. They might not have a ton of flavor, but once you get the complexity of the whole lemon in there and you have a chance to adjust at the end to decide how much more lemon juice you want to add as well so that it's just to your liking, it's always great. Done. All right. Okay, so all the prep is done. There's our 3 ingredients: lemon, sugar, strawberries. So this all happens very, very fast from now on. We're going to blend this, dump it out, puree the strawberries, put those together in the ice cream machine, and we have sorbet. If you don't have either of these machines, I'm sure this would work in a blender. Without an ice cream maker, you could definitely just put this in the freezer in a shallow container and stir like every half hour or so until it turns into a sorbet-like texture. This will be friendly to whatever you need to do. Even if you didn't have any machines and you just wanted to really finely chop the lemon and the strawberry, it would be a little chunkier, but it would still be good. Okay, let's blend. Okay, I'm gonna check this out. Here you get to decide how much texture you want. I kind of like little bits of the peel and the rind. If there's any big chunks, maybe keep pulsing, but that's good to me. If you don't want the texture, you can keep pureeing it until it's even smoother. So now this dumps out mainly to make room for the strawberries and give them a chance to puree evenly. But another thing I love about this recipe, you don't have to worry about the bowl being totally clean. It uses one food processor bowl. Okay, ready? I'm just gonna mix these together and then dump them in the ice cream maker. I almost forgot. I was talking so much about having the chance to adjust, and then I almost forgot to do the very important step of adjusting and adding as much lemon juice as you think it needs. So it'll be 1 to 2 lemons. So I'm gonna start with just juicing one. And this is the point where if you wanna add anything else, you would wanna do that. Let's taste, see if we need more lemon. So Ruth and Rose said that it should taste powerfully lemony, but not overpower the strawberry. I'm going to add a little bit more lemon. Other people on Food 52 in the 10 years since I've published this have added booze. Things like rum, limoncello, Saint Germain. And the booze adds flavor, but it also helps a little bit with it freezing not too hard. This one actually freezes remarkably well just because of the combination of the acidity and the sugar. But the booze will help with that too. People have also added milk for some creaminess. They've swapped in frozen berries because that's what they had, mixed berries, Meyer lemon instead of regular lemon. Also in Ruth and Rose's cookbooks, over the years there have been many cookbooks and many sorbets, and several of them use this whole lemon trick. They've done it with blood oranges where they've blended some of the blood oranges in as well. They've done it with raspberries, and they've done it with just lemon. And then to make up some of that like extra fleshy meatiness that the strawberries add, they've added banana to help make it creamy and give it more substance. So let's taste, again, make sure we have the right amount of lemon. You know, okay, first of all, that's so good. It's like the best strawberry lemonade you've ever had. But secondly, all of the sugar granules are gone. A lot of sorbets will call for making a simple syrup on the stove. The lemon took care of that for us. So it's a truly no-cook sorbet. So I think for me, when I have nice, flavorful, ripe strawberries, 1 lemon is a perfect balance. But this is the moment that you get to adjust and decide for yourself. I also wanted to hear from Ruth a little bit more about how this all is playing together and what other variations you might be able to do with a whole lemon sorbet. So here's Ruth on that.
I think that for the most important thing is to taste the fruit. You know, to taste the pear, to taste the cherries, to taste the strawberries, the raspberries, the peaches, and then really think how, if you wanted to eat a peach after a meal. In Italy, you have very often, you have for dessert, you have strawberries with the lemon juice and sugar. That's what you get. You know, they sprinkle over a bit of sugar and then they squeeze the lemon juice and boom, there's your dessert. So take that and make a sorbet out of it. You know, I always say to the chefs, does that fruit in the sorbet explode in your mouth? Does it actually feel like you're having something that is almost challenging to you?
So I took that kind of to the edge. You might want to fill it not quite as full and then just enjoy this on its own or like with some sparkling water. put it over ice cream, whatever, because this will expand as it's churning. But as I found out last night, it can overflow a little bit and still be fine. This is the batch I made last night and froze. Wow, look at that color. This is straight out of the freezer. It's shockingly scoopable. It's so good. It's so intense. It's like screaming strawberry, slightly less loudly screaming lemon. It is refreshing and bright and sweet and summery, but only made with 3 ingredients and 2 machines. But you can work around the machines. And in honor of the 10th birthday of Genius Recipes, I also went and found another, actually 1 or maybe 2, I haven't decided yet, sorbet from the River Cafe that doesn't require any special equipment at all. So those will be on Food 52, look out for them. If you want to hear even more about the story behind this recipe in the early days of the River Cafe, head to the Genius Recipe Tapes podcast. I got the chance to talk to Ruthie, and I also got the chance to talk to my boss, Amanda Hesser, about what it was like to first find this recipe and share it in the New York Times, and then give it to me to share with all of you in the very first Genius Recipes column. If you want all of the Genius recipes like this one, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And I just want to say thank you. Whether you have been reading since that very first column 10 years ago, or you joined us more recently through the newsletter or the videos or the podcast, there is absolutely no way that I could have kept this thing going for 10 years without all of you, without you sending in your tips and giving me advice in the comments and cheering me on when you tried a recipe and loved it or didn't love it or made changes, whatever. I love hearing from you. Thank you so much. Here's to many, many more. We will see you in 2 weeks.